Hello and welcome everyone to another EVE Online video from Switch 8 Games. In this video, we're going to be going over some advanced exploration techniques. I hope you guys are ready to make a ton of ISK, and I hope you enjoy the content. Welcome back to another video from Switch 8 Games. The three things we're going to focus on today, since this is an advanced exploration tutorial, is the ships and fits. That's very important. What to fly and what to equip to fly them. We're going to focus on the minigame a little bit, and we're going to share some pro tips with you to help you navigate around in low sec, null sec. And then we're going to teach you how to scan and hack and move and return all of that back to the place where you can sell it back in high sec. So stay tuned for a bunch of information. This video is going to be a little bit longer, but it should be a lot more explanatory on how to explore efficiently in low sec, null sec. All right, so just getting started on our advanced exploration video, let's talk about the Heron's stats. The Heron is very slippery, it's very lightweight. We want to maintain that we're not focused on committing damage, we're not focused on having a lot of HP. What we are focused on, however, is our ability to travel. So 1.84 seconds, always round your align time up to 2. We have fitted a few extra things than last time. So if you remember from our last video, all that we had on there were the essentials. The Sisters Core Probe Launcher was a Core Probe Launcher 1. We've upgraded that to the Sisters Core Probe Launcher, so if you have the money, go to those. If not, train into a Tech 2. And the last thing we had there in the first video was a Data Analyzer and Relic Analyzer. Here we've just upgraded to the second tech. We did have the Scan Acquisition Array 1. We didn't talk about it very much, but basically this is going to also decrease your scan time for how long it takes to scan. And then here we have a Cargo Scanner and an AB. So in our highs, we have Sisters Core Probe Launcher. We do have an improved cloaking device. In the first one, we just had the Cloaking Device 1, and that's just simply for whenever you're scanning to cloak up. In our mids, we have our relic and data. We have our scan acquisition rate. You can make this whatever you'd like. You can have a module that helps with deviation. You can have a module that helps with scan strength. The core scanner, if you had a cargo scanner 1, you would be able to scan specific targets and figure out what has the most amount of loot in it. And even though it is kind of controversial to do so, when you're a newbro trying to get out into low sec and null sec, it's very important that you focus on trying to get in, get the loot, and get out. Now, a lot of people would recommend the micro warp drive. In this case, when someone captures you with a warp scrambler, you do want to have that afterburner. This gets the ship going at 1216 meters a second, which is quite fast. In our low slots, pretty simple stuff. Inertial stabilizer. This is going to help increase our line time. You can go to attributes and check out the inertia modifier and the signature radius modifier as well. This is going to allow the ship to go a little bit faster when it aligns. If you disable this, you can see that our line time goes up to 2.98, which rounds up to 3. Remember, your line time always rounds up. If you turn it back on again, you're down to 2.64. If you turn off your AB, always have your AB off when you're aligning and trying to warp somewhere. That way you decrease the force from the AB pushing the ship in a certain direction, creating too much momentum in the wrong way. So what you want to do is kick your AB off so that your align time is down. Look at that, 1.8. Redisable this inertia stabilizer, and it's back up to 2.08, which again rounds to 3 seconds. The goal for being in low sec and null sec with your exploration ship, you want to be slippery. So having that inertia stabilizer is great. The nanofiber internal structure also is going to help your inertia modifier, and this one actually is going to help your velocity modifier. Very big deal for when you warp and when you move in space. These two low slots, you'll notice we're not installing a damage control unit. Again, the focus is not to maintain any sort of fighting stance or defense stance. We want to get in and get out. With our 3 different Tech 2 rigs, I'll just go over them really quickly. If you haven't trained into rigs, I would suggest training into the propulsion rigs in your skills section. Small low friction nozzle joint 2. So this guy is going to greatly assist with your inertia modifier. Your inertia modifier is everything when it comes to aligning. I also have small hyperspatial velocity modifier. This is going to change your warp speed, so you're going to be able to get from place to place a lot faster. Land. So if you're going from gate to gate, or if you should be going from gate to moon to gate, you're going to do that a lot more quickly, and you'll be out of the way of bubbles if there are any. Polycarbon engine housing. Again, you got that modifier right there. That inertia modifier is there, and your velocity modifier is there as well. These 3 rigs and the 2 lows are definitely going to help with movement in space, because that's kind of the most important thing. That's the fit. All right, so now I'm going to head into my Astero, show you a little bit of an advanced fit that you can use to get out there in case you see a little bit of combat. Now, this ship isn't going to be nearly as slippery, but will come with a small armor repairer, a reactive armor hardener. We got an overdrive injector to push that afterburner a little bit faster. We have our cargo scanner as usual. We do have our relic analyzer and our data analyzer here as well. In our rig slots in the Astero, we're going to have the small auxiliary nano pump. If you do a show info on that, it says this modification is designed to increase a ship's armor repair amount at the expense of increased power grid need for them, which isn't a big deal. We still have a lot of room on our power and CPU. The propulsion unit's going to push a little further because the overdrive injector, and we'll have a little bit more armor when it comes to the repper, but the repper will be able to put out a little bit more HP repair per cycle. So we also have the low friction nozzle joints. We're keeping it well below the align time. Also in our drone bay, we do have Federation Navy Hobgoblins, Warrior 2s. So we have like shield and armor damagers, and then we do have our electronic warfare. So this is the Astero fit. Right, and for our last ship, it's one of my favorite ships ever. It's the Metamorphosis. Several things about this ship is quite amazing. If you don't have as many skill points as advanced explorers, this is the ship for you. So let's hit show info real quick. Just right off the bat, standard traits for this exploration ship. This is a special edition ship. It doesn't require anything to fly. Spaceship Command 1, you come with it. So it does have some offensive capability, but really what we're going to focus on is that 37.5% bonus to core, scanner, probe strength, and scan deviation, as well as plus 10 to relic and data analyzer virus strength, which is very similar to the Tech 2 exploration ships. But what's really interesting about this ship is it has a built-in warp core stabilizer, plus 2 bonus to ship warp core strength. That means that if someone has a warp scrambler that has a power of 2 and they target you and they try to turn that module on, it will not prevent you from warping away. The 100% reduction in cloaking device, probe launcher, relic analyzer, and data analyzer is just a huge indication that this was definitely built for exploration. It has a combination of the ability to enhance its armor or shields, but really if you look at my fitting, we're not doing any combat, we're not doing any defense or offense. We have in the highs our probe launcher, our Covops cloak. Also, this ship can fit a Covops cloak, so you can move around space as you wish. Data analyzer 2. With this ship, I'm going to very specifically aim myself at exploration events. In our mids, we have a data analyzer 2, Corelli C-type afterburner, 1,050 meters second. Small shield extender. This is just so that we can get away. Also, you'll notice in our rigs, we have a couple of small core defense field extenders. This brings us up to 4,500 HP, and for such a small ship, it's really nice to have that little bit of protection. Some people say, well, why even fit any shields on this ship? And the sole purpose is to turn that afterburner on, align away, and then while you're being hit, your small shield extender and your 2 core defense rigs are taking care of you so that you don't immediately explode or get one shot. And then as soon as you're aligned out, turn on that warp core stabilizer. It won't be on for long, so once you turn it on, you'll have the power plus 4 warp core stabilization. So the escape trick for this ship is just to tank some of the hits from the ship that's attacking you, align out, and warp away by clicking on that warp core stabilizer. We also have an inertial stabilizer to keep our align time down below 2 seconds. We have a damage control to help assist that small shield extender and those 2 rigs. We also have the low friction nozzle joint to assist the inertial stabilizer in keeping us below 2.0 on this ship. One of my favorite ships ever. Now, let's discuss having just the data analyzer. I've spoken about this in the past. I don't like the dual module that allows for data and relic in the same module. The power of that module has to share with both items. So basically, the power of each of the data and relic are weaker than having just a data or just a relic analyzer. So what's really cool about this ship, if you go to your cargo, you'll notice that the Metamorphosis has a mobile depot bay. So what you can do is put a mobile depot in here. If for some reason you run into a relic site that you really want to scan down and hack, you can pop out your mobile depot and swap your data analyzer for a relic analyzer. If you wanted to turn this ship into a small combat fit, again, you could pop out your mobile depot and switch this entire fit out. So those are the benefits of the Metamorphosis, my absolute favorite exploration ship as far as frigates are concerned. And so yeah, there's the fit. So pro tip, if you have a bunch of stuff here in your scan results, just right click on something that you don't want to see and just hit ignore results. In this case, we just wanted to not look at that gas site, so we just ignored it. And it's only for this room, by the way. When you change rooms, you'll have to ignore other things as well manually. All right, just a little pro tip. We did mention this in the last video, but I want to mention it again. While you're traveling around, if you have your afterburner or your micro warp drive on, if you want to align out quickly, be sure your propulsion module is off. All right, so a quick word about bookmarking. In order to save a spot in space, such as this, we have one called Safe 1. All you need to do is select an object in space, wherever you want to warp to, the sun in this case, hold Control and hit B. and then name it whatever you want. In this case, we're going to call it safe 3. Make sure our expire is never, and then begin your warp. Now, as soon as you hit that submit button about halfway between here and the sun, it will create that spot in space. Right here, we're going to hit submit, and that is how you create a bookmark. An alternative method to creating a bookmark using your mouse is to right-click on an object in space and hit save location, and it will automatically have whatever that's called in the label section. And that's it. So let's find some data and relic sites, and we'll examine each and every one of the firewalls so we can discuss exactly what they do. Okay, so there's a couple of things that there's actually 3 things that we want to pay attention to, and that is when we're out in low sec, null sec, and that is dscan. We want to check local constantly, see how many people they're actually here, and we want to make sure that we're cloaked up at all times, off 100 off of a moon or at a safer bookmark. All right, just like in the last video, we're just going to do a standard situation here. This is right here is a restoration node. Every time that this is clicked or another node is clicked, this restoration node will increase the health of firewalls, virus suppressors, and antivirus firewalls. So you'll need to be sure to knock these out first. These are #1 priority when hacking. So we're going to go ahead and click this twice to get rid of it. All right, so this one is a firewall. They have high coherence and low strength, so they won't hit you back for very much, but it will take 2 hits to knock those out if you have my particular coherence. All right. Again, this is a data cache. Data caches are 50-50, good or bad. We don't want to activate those unless we absolutely need to. All right, so this is a subsystem that will help you. This is called the polymorphic shield. When you activate this guy, it's going to protect you from whatever incoming attack will be happening from the firewall. For instance, if I go ahead and click this one, which we need to identify as an antivirus, low coherence, high strength. So right now I have a strength of 60. It has a coherence of 50. If I click this once, I'll attack it and knock it down before it has a chance to damage me for its 40. If you wanted to protect it, like let's say it was gonna get you and hurt you for the 40, you could click this polymorphic shield and then click on it one time. It will use one of the 2 available shields and it will protect you from any damage coming from that guy. But in this particular instance, I can just click on it once and it's gone. That's the good part about training up your skills as high as you can get them. Something else besides cherry picking the actual sites you want to hack or not, you can use your cargo scanner and you can locate only the mainframes or sites that you actually want to hack. Like let's say something has a low amount of ISK in it, you can leave that. But also when you do find a high value item, you don't have to take every single thing in that. If the item is heavy, like this one weighs 2.1 meters cubed, you don't have to take that. Just take the 2 things that are nice and light that are worth a lot more ISK and move on. You don't have to take the entire sites container. So you can cherry pick your sites and you can also cherry pick the inventory that you want to take with you. All right, here we have an antivirus, low coherence, high strength. I have enough attack to take that out in 1 hit. It will not hit me for the 40. Okay, there we go. If you didn't, it would hit you for the 40 and you have to click on it again, and then you would take it down with no damage. All right, here's your system core. That thing that I just used was a kernel rock, cuts the other node's coherence down by half. There we go. All right, we got a polymorphic shield there. Good find. We have a restoration node there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that right away. Another. Also, you'll notice a lot of the more experienced players do not activate a beneficial subsystem until they absolutely need it. In this case, we have a firewall here, high coherence, low strength. Let's go ahead and use our shield. It protects us from any damage. We can knock that out in 1 hit. Okay, here we have a kernel rot that'll cut the coherence in half. Here's an antivirus. Again, we can take these out with one hit. Notice that if we can take it out in one hit, it doesn't use our polymorphic shield. It's intuitive. This one is a firewall. Go ahead and do need to use our shield for that one, and here's our system core. All right, here we again have an antivirus. One click. So here we have a firewall that's a little bit more difficult. We will have to click on it twice, and we will take a hit of 20. As we don't have any beneficials yet. Here we go with a secondary vector. This is that beneficial where you click it, and then you click the node, that's the firewall. And when you click away from it, like another node, for instance, it will start eating away at the coherence or the health of that firewall. So here we can click this and this here, and then begin clicking on other things. You see it just took 20, took 20 more, and it killed it. So you can kind of go about your business. Okay, here's the one we haven't seen yet. This one is one of the most dangerous ones besides our restoration node. This is a virus suppressor. It actually lowers your virus strength by 15. So normally we're at 60. So right now our virus strength is at 45 because of this virus suppressor. Your virus strength can't ever go below 10, but they are definitely a high priority target. So we're going to click that and here, and then go about our business up here, and eventually it will die. Here's our system core, and we are successful. Open that. Alrighty, a couple of decryptors and another needle jack. Very good. Okay, so we are done with this site, and that is the explanation of all 4 of the defensive subsystems in a data site. We have the firewall, which is high coherence, low strength. The antivirus is low coherence, high strength. Restoration nodes give an extra 20 coherence or health to any of the other firewalls hanging around, any other defensive subsystems laying around. And then we did see a virus suppressor, which lowers your attack by 15 points, not going below 10. Both the restoration node and the virus suppressor are high priority targets, so we will take those out the minute we see them. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next one. For the last section of our video today, we're going to talk about how to get out to low sec, how to get out to null sec, and then how to return home with your loot. So if you are in JITA or you're in your home area, you can use a particular filament to get out to null sec. I use one specific called noise TAC5 needlejack filament. Now this is going to put you in a very quiet spot in null sec, so that's going to be less than 0.0. And it's going to aim at areas that have low to no pilots in it. Once we get out into space, we'll explain some rules that it needs before it will activate and how to activate it. This is a home TAC5 Pochvan filament, and this is a proximity TAC5 extraction filament. Now, the home TAC5 Pochvan filament will get you into the Pochvan region that can only be reached with this filament, and then the extraction filament will get you out into known space, particularly in high sec. So let's go ahead and try these out. First, we're going to use our needle jack. So there are some things you need to know when using a needle jack. Let's undock. Right now we're currently in JITA, which is a high security 0.9 system. It's also the major trading hub location. It's relatively difficult to find a place to activate a filament in JITA, but what I have learned is if you, instead of warping to 100 kilometers on a moon, if you warp to 0 on any given moon, a lot of the time you'll be far enough away to activate a filament. So one of the things that we want to be sure of is that we are 1,000 kilometers from anything, specifically POS towers, structures. It will not activate if you are near anything. The other thing is that you need to be in your own fleet. So first thing I'm going to do is go invite myself to my own fleet. Right click on my picture, go to form fleet with. Also, you cannot be cloaked up for this, so go ahead and stay uncloaked. We are in high sec, so have nothing to worry about there. We have formed a fleet with ourselves, so we have to be in a fleet. With the noise tac 5, the reason it says 5 here is so that you can carry another 4 with you. It will bring 5 people into that next area. You want to right click when you're where you think you need to be and click use. Then it will pull up an activation button. Click that, and as long as you're away from anything else, you will warp through a special warp 2. This is a very quiet spot in low sec. So a couple things. First of all, you now have a 15-minute capsuleer log off timer. Combat with another capsuleer is the cause. It's considering activating that filament combat. The consequence is the ship will remain in space on log off until timer expires. So it takes you about 15 minutes to get ready. Once that 15-minute timer has gone down, then you can activate the next filament to get into Pochven, and then after 15 minutes after that, you can activate the proximity 5 to get back to high sec, in which case you'll have to go gate to gate and high sec back to Jita. Now that we are here, we can pull up our probe scanner. We see that we have 3 cosmic signatures. We can go ahead and scan those down, fill our inventory with loot, and get ready to activate the Pochven filament. And hopefully by the time you're done exploring and scanning and hacking, that timer will have gone down, and then you can go to your inventory and activate your home tac 5 Pochven filament. Okay, so we have gotten our loot. Looks like we accumulated about 80,800,000 in about 20 minutes or so. So 80 million is a pretty good number. Now, I am about 100 kilometers off of the nearest moon. What I'm going to do is select my home Pochven filament. It says a home tac Pochven filament permits up to 5 ships to travel to known space to a system in Triglavian space that is considered the home system of the artificial constellation, or CRY, controlled by a given Triglavian clade. So we're going to close these, and we're going to go ahead and activate that. We will warp to Pochven. Once I'm here, the very first thing I do is look for the nearest structure we can dock into. I don't mess around in Pochven space. I don't risk it. Local and D-scan are very similar to wormhole space. So just basically being here is relatively dangerous. If you're a newbro trying to expand your horizons into low sec, null sec, I would suggest not roaming around in Pochven space. Now, Pochven space is very interesting. If you look at the map, this is sort of a locked grid. So these areas are the only places that you can go inside of Pochven. You can't get back to known space. I believe there may be a possibility of wormholing, but in this case, since we're doing the exploration and we do have the high amount of ISK, what we want to do is dock up and wait that 15-minute timer out until we can use our extraction filament. Right, so now that we have waited out our timer in the dock, we are going to take the same activity we normally do, which is find a random moon, warp to 100 kilometers, kind of get away from everything. When you're in highly populated areas, it's always good to warp to 0 on the moon, just in case they have a POS or some kind of structure 100 kilometers away from it. And once we have arrived, the third part of getting back to home base is activating our proximity extraction filament. If it gives you the invulnerable error when you hit activate, just double click in space to begin moving again, and it'll work. You just go ahead and hit activate. Alright, extraction should bring us to known space, and it theoretically should be ISK. So we are in Visto Point 8. We were based out of Jita, so we're going to set destination, and we're literally 2 jumps from home. Alright, let's take both of those gates and get back. Alright, having taken that extraction filament and then 2 gates, we have arrived back at home. with our loot safe and sound to the tune of about 80,800,000. So I'm just gonna grab this, throw it in my loot container, and we're done. All right. All right, so I have some bonus footage for you. I was heading home on one of my many recordings and stumbled upon something kind of special. It was a ghost site that had quite a bit of ISK in it. I believe I was in my heron at the time doing the advanced exploration tutorial video. I hope you enjoy this clip. All right, I just wanted to show everybody really quick. I just discovered a ghost site. This could very well blow our ship up, so we gotta be really careful. It's gonna start an unknown timer. Once I start hacking it, I've got only so long to hack it, and then if it blows up, if I fail, it'll blow up. If I take too long, NPCs will show up and kill me. So we may have to go grab another ship after this, but this is the most dangerous site. So we're gonna approach it. We're gonna get within 6,000 of it. Actually, no, we're gonna get right up against it. I want to be as close as possible so that I can hack it and get out. I hope I have enough. All right, here we go. We did it. 488 million. I can't believe that. Can't believe I just did that. Wow. Whoa, that was a good hack. All right. That's how you get a ghost site. There was 421 million ISK in that can. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we carry a cargo scanner. All right, so that's it for our advanced exploration guide. I hope you were able to follow along. Get out there, make a ton of ISK. You saw just now how we were able to bring home 500 million ISK. So get out there, give it a shot. If you're not out in space, you can't make that ISK. Use these techniques, and if you have any questions or any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and until next time, fly safe, everyone.